Hello, everyone, and welcome back to finally back with this new episode of the Dolce Calcio podcast English version. With me, I'm gonna start with the woman here.
100%, the guest.
With the guest of honor today is our friend, a friend of the channel, Elena Figara.
Hi, it's an honor to be here today with you guys.
I'm gonna salute Harry last because I think we need to.
Foreign, isn't it?
No, not because they're for. Let's say hi also to our coordinator, Magnifico Dishan Fonseca, under the camera, and it's really under the camera. We can
Really
say
under the camera today, yeah.
And for the first time in the studio, one of the co-founders of Dolce Calcio, finally back in Italy, Harry Beckwith.
It's really nice being back. I have to say, we were talking before we started, and I said I'm actually quite nervous for today. We've done so many lives, but being in the studio now that it's finished, obviously it wasn't finished when I left really.
Yeah, you left in December.
Exactly. So being here, not on a Zoom call, is quite refreshing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good one, and it's the last one in English for the season.
And I'm here.
And you're here, yeah. We got a lot to talk about. Yeah, it should be a good one. Looking forward to it.
We are finally back because we stopped with the English version of the podcast for a little bit because we wanted to give you a good product, not a shitty one.
And whilst we were doing it on the Zoom, as much as the content we covered was good, and I think that we enjoyed making it, it wasn't what we wanted and what we wanted to produce and what we want to do going forward. So, but I'm back. So now we're here.
Now we're here. We're gonna be back obviously for the next season, and we're gonna work with you and give you all kinds of content during the summer, talking about the transfer market. We're going to talk about the fantasy football by the Italian. I know that the version that you played in the UK is very different. So that's not going to be for international viewers. And probably we're going to also bring you different other kind of contents about players, and also hopefully we're going to have some surprises on the way.
Yeah. We got some good videos in the works at the moment as well, I think. So when they come out, there'll be a lot of content coming your way soon.
Absolutely. So I think we can start. I have the okay from our coordinator. We can start with obviously the first topic, and it's the Why So Serie A title, finally back. And we're gonna talk obviously about the last match day of the Serie A season that happened this weekend with the Napoli. That is finally the Campione d'Italia, champions of Italy. I wanna because obviously you're gonna see that in the next few days we're gonna put out this video on YouTube because we were in Naples.
Yeah, and what an experience that was as well. Outside of winning, going to Naples in itself is such an experience, anyway, but being there on that day, it was...
I was very jealous of you guys.
Yeah, honestly, you've seen some of the videos and stuff that we've shown you, but yeah, well, we get into it now. We'll explain how incredible it was. It was marvelous.
Yeah, you and Dishan were outside the stadium. You were with the people.
Yeah, and I think that was nice that we got to experience it with the locals as well, because normally Naples gets a little bit of a bad reputation. I think that is fair to say. But everyone was so hospitable. Everyone was so just happy to have us there, celebrating with them, and I think
we can say that you were kind of like a mascot during
a little bit. I mean, we were doing some interviews and people were handing me flares, and everyone was like, "Oh, Il Gallese" and stuff like that, and it was just nice to get to experience sort of being there amongst everything.
Embraced by the Napolitan love.
Exactly.
Obviously, we're going to talk about Napoli and what happened on the pitch on Friday against the Cagliari. We're going to talk about the men from Lancaster, the great men from Lancaster here behind me. We need to talk about the winners and losers of this match day and all Serie A season. Obviously, because I know that Lazio is
it's a sore subject, I'll put it that way.
Exactly. But we need to talk about Lazio. We need to talk about Juve that finally got back to the Champions League. We need to talk about Roma, Milan, Inter. There's a lot to talk about. I want to remind all our viewers, if you have something, any question or unpopular opinion, text it in the chat so that we can discuss it here live with you. So First question.
Well, first of all, if we're gonna obviously Napoli were the main story about Friday, but I think maybe it might be better to start off with Inter as the sort of the.
No, I think right now Harry maybe jumped the gun a little bit because we are talking about Inter in a little bit.
Okay, fine.
We need to talk about Inter not because of Friday, but I think because of Saturday.
Okay.
Next Saturday.
Yes, actually,
So-
no, yeah, 100%.
That's why I wanna hold
Hold off on that one.
at least.
But it's
At
worth
least for-
mentioning a bit also what happened on Friday for Inter because it's
I think
the second time it happened.
I think the
last
most
year,
important thing
so-
to I don't know. I want to hear your opinion because obviously you've seen Inzaghi at work at Lazio first and then at Inter. I want to ask you on this thing and then we'll go on to the other teams. Did Inter really lose the league or Napoli won it?
I think Inter lost it. It happened twice in the past 3 years. Yeah, they lost it against Milan that way. They lost it again this year. Quite similar in the dynamics of it. I think Inter has the best squad of all. If you compare the Inter squad and the Napoli squad, it was clearly Inter was the best team. But again, Inter was playing 3 competitions. Napoli only played 1 competition, and they even got knocked out by Lazio from the Coppa Italia very early on.
Conte decided to get knocked out. He played.
Yeah. Keep telling yourself that one, mate.
Yeah, he's
Bro.
yeah.
I'm not telling myself.
With all
If you see the team,
Yeah.
Conte decided to play with 10 maybe players from the bench and no starters at all.
See,
Except
I
for
remember that
Menez.
game because we were there, and
Yeah, we were there.
Tijani Nosley, and what a bloke, what a player.
Yeah, because
What a
that's
player.
not the
I don't
viewing
think that- I
of.
don't
Maybe not anymore, but at the time,
Exactly, at
what,
the time,
what a game! What a
incredible
game!
player.
What a game!
But yeah, so I was saying, I think Inter lost it. Napoli wasn't. The thing about Napoli that they weren't perfect during the season. They missed a lot of chances to close it earlier, and so Inter could have really make the most out of that. But they made loads of mistakes as well. They had those couple of weeks when they lost against Roma, they lost against Bologna that way, and that really I think they lost it there more than losing it against Lazio because Napoli was already ahead. So I think they lost it, but Napoli was good in staying there and believing and keep
I think
keep the pressure
before
on.
going to you, Ari, I think Napoli it's not the best team in Serie A, but he played better than the others. He was more maybe tenacious and more obviously it's easy with only 1 competition in the season, but the mind of the players were were always focused on that goal.
Yeah.
And they reached it and they arrived at the destination that is the Scudetto.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that it takes a good team, like a champion, has to be the type of team that can grind out a difficult result. Your 1-0 wins where, perhaps on paper,
Those
you
dirty
expect
wins.
to... Exactly. I remember Liverpool, the year we won it in 2019-20, games against like Aston Villa where you're scoring twice in the 85th to 90th minute. Games like that, Napoli had a lot of those games. And I think that is the difference between a champion and a team who's just not quite got the mindset there. And I think you had that mindset. I think Conte is such a massive part of that as well.
No, good
Arguably,
point.
whatut Conte, they would never have won it.
No,
With
I
the squad they
completely
have.
agree. Completely
With any
agree.
other manager, I cannot think of a manager that could have won a league, the Serie A, with that squad.
No.
I think this is one maybe more of the lesser technical side that has on the Serie A in the last few 20 years maybe. But I think there are lots of physicality, and that's the thing that I maybe see the most in the Napoli squad. But I'm gonna ask you right now. I'm gonna tell you the Napoli players, and then you're gonna rate their season from 1 to 10. I know that it's different.
So we did this the other night somewhat, and Yak was
Yep.
really not happy with my opinions.
Yeah, because
So are we doing it off what I think of them as a player, or just the season they've had?
the season that they had, not everything, because I think a lot of the players that maybe did good this season, they may in the last seasons they weren't as good as this one. So we're gonna start. Alex Meret,
Yeah,
from 1 to 10.
Amazing, really good. As a player, I think if Napoli want to go further, in other competitions next year as well, I think he's a really good goalkeeper to have. Maybe he's not the name that a lot of people would associate with a champion, of a domestic
Second,
champion.
a 2-time.
But exactly, I
champion of
think
Italy.
Napoli, I'll be honest, isn't a team that I've watched as much as other teams this year. I'll be honest, but when I have
One
watched
team.
them-
He has watched every game from only one
I
team.
know,
so
like, I've watched most of the games for Lazio, obviously, as a fan, but I also try and watch as many other games as I can. But Meret is one of those players who he was consistently very good. Like, he's not a world beater, he's not the likes of Donnarumma, Alisson, etc., but he's proven himself to be a very, very, very good goalkeeper this season.
He does the job, I guess. It's not like
Exactly.
the name that you like.
Exactly, that's what I
Maignan,
mean.
something like
No.
him that you said. He was very key in the Milan Scudetto, but he did.
So, he came up big when he, what, like, out of 10?
yeah.
8?
I don't know.
7.5.
I think 7, 7.5.
Yeah,
It's
it's not-
8, maybe too much.
Things, again, in those,
I
in
think
those
the
scrappy
first
games,
the first
though,
Scudetto was even better for
yeah,
him.
my,
This one.
the only reason I put it to an 8 is just
It was
I think,
difficult for him to receive shots this season
Yeah,
because
but-
with the
No, I agree.
with the
But
Napoli
also, I think he came up like very well in important games, like those 1-0 scrappy wins. You know, like we were saying.
yeah, but
I
I always
feel
think
like-
about like maybe the Saxon goal in Rome, the Çalhanoğlu goal.
Yeah,
where
no.
like a little bit of mistake.
No, I get that, but every
so-
goalkeeper makes a mistake. Every goalkeeper gets goals conceded against them. That's the
Absolutely,
whole
but
point.
I'm a normal, let's say, fan. I have a good opinion on Meret. Pierre, one of our talents here, that is that shares with us the Italian part of the channel, is not a huge fan of Meret. So
No.
Actually, I remember Jacopo years ago that you were actually a big supporter of Meret, and
Yeah.
and he was the one saying like, oh, we have this very like good goalkeeper. He should be
Better
more,
than
he should be
Ospina,
more."
he should be,
Yes.
oh, yeah,
And you
yeah.
were, I remember you were saying
and
years ago.
when Ospina went away,
Yeah.
Meret became the starter, and Napoli won to Scudetto in 3 years. So prove me wrong.
So I reckon if Conte loses the job or leaves, I reckon we get Jacopo in. Like, De Laurentiis, if you're watching.
There, please, Aurelio, I'm there. If you want me, I'm there. So let's go really fast on the
Yeah.
defense. Di Lorenzo,
6.
he gave 8 to Moretti and then 6,
I would give an 8 to Di Lorenzo.
7.5, only because I think he has done better, but he was really solid during the season. Rahmani,
Why don't you go first?
I go first.
Yeah.
Rachmani, 8.5.
Yeah.
finally someone that knows ball here at the
Thank
table.
you.
Finally, he's the most underrated player I think in the Napoli squad.
6.5, 7.
Oh God.
I'm
a
gonna
very harsh critic, though.
yeah.
Saying I did give
I'm
an 8 to
gonna
Meret.
Buongiorno.
Really good player. 9, 8.
7. Only because he played.
I think he's so good. I
He
think
was
he's so
incredible. The
underrated.
first part of the season, he was.
Do you know what?
The
I
rock.
think your opinion of Rachmani is, I think, my opinion of Buongiorno and the other way around. I think Buongiorno is such a
Rachmani
great
didn't
player.
miss
Yeah. You have to watch
any
the
game
consistency
this
as well.
season. Buongiorno was out for
Yeah,
at
but I'm
least
talking
2
about
months.
but on the games that he did play, he was
It's
great.
incredible.
That's
but
what I
if
mean.
you're out 2
But I'm
months,
not-
you cannot have the same.
Okay, fine.
grade
With
of-
that in mind, I'm looking at it in terms of when they're playing. Like, you know, you could look at a player who's been injured all season, you know.
Tavares.
Exactly. But even when Tavares
You
has
would give
played,
him a
he's been
9.
incredible.
You
Exactly.
would give him a 9, but then
Exactly.
you look at how many games he played.
No,
and you're like,
agreed. But when you're talking about him on the pitch, which is what I'm rating,
In the football world, you have
Considerable.
the first part of
Considerable.
the season and the second part of the season. You said Nuno Tavares. Nuno Tavares is a 9 for the first part of the season. For the first 3
games.
months, 2 months and a half, was a 9.
And like every
after
Lazio
that,
player
it
is like
was
a
like
3
a
or
5.
2 after.
So then the grade starts a little bit to go down. That's why. Oliveira,
6, 7.
7.5.
Yeah, 7 for me.
Spinazzola,
He's not been that great. 5.
a 7. Only because he had some important goals or assists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He scored a few goals this season.
Yeah,
as
also
well.
here in the Olimpico in Rome. So
Yeah, that's a 9 for me. No, I'm kidding.
only
7.
for the goal against Roma, it's a 9.
I remember that
If
one.
you
I
couldn't
remember
tell,
that.
Eleanor's a Lazio fan.
You shouldn't say that. It's a secret.
Let's go on with the. I'm not gonna say.
The main one will leave.
One just I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say like Rafa Marin, but I'm gonna say because he obviously
came up in
played
those moments
when Buongiorno was
out. Yeah, 7, 8.
7.
Yeah,
I think
he was
it's,
he was one of those players that you really need. He's a squad player who's so important that when you have like an injury like Buongiorno,
Yeah.
he stepped up and he did it such a great job when he did.
Very consistent.
Exactly. He was never, the best player on the pitch
Yeah.
for them, but he was always doing his job to a good
And you
standard.
need those players.
Exactly,
You need those
exactly.
players.
I'm gonna ask then for the midfielders. We'll do only the 4 main ones. So we're gonna start with Gilmour, Lobotka substitute, and I think he's played a great season. I think it's 7.5.
Yeah,
7.5,
Because
8.
Lobotka too was injured for a long time.
And also Lobotka is such a key player for Napoli, and when Gilmour played, it wasn't you could feel the difference, but it wasn't that gap that you said. Oh my God,
I think he's the future of the Napoli midfielder because he's the only one under 25. So
exactly.
that's
and
the only
also
thing.
you can tell he's got a lot of heart in it as well. Like you look at a player who we'll look at in a minute, Scott McTominay.
When everything is all right.
Yeah, back. Okay, we're back.
I think we're back.
And we're back.
Scotland.
Okay, so we
Also, shout out Morgan King and the Daylor boys. Thank you for watching.
shout out also to Francesca that she's waiting for the Napoli video. So don't worry, the wait is almost over. We're gonna put it out in the next few days. And I wanna thank Dishon because he's been
He's working really hard on it.
he's working really hard for us, and he's the main guy when we are talking about doing videos, edit videos. So thank you, Shano. Shout out to him. You also perfect, incredible.
Honestly,
He's an
we're singing his
incredible player.
praises whilst he's doing something else amazing.
Exactly. We're gonna start, we said Gilmour, Anguissa,
I love Anguissa. I'll be honest. I really like Anguissa.
6.5.
Whoa.
7.5.
I think he played a month and a half with incredible stamina, incredible football. Other than that, he was maybe the worst player in the Napoli squad a lot of the times.
I think maybe I see it from rose-tinted glasses as well, because a lot of players, like, again, we'll talk about Scott McTominay in a minute, but players who've not done well or not been amazing in the Prem who then come over and do really well, obviously we see it from, as a Premier League fan, you see them from that level to kind of become better. So maybe in my eyes, he's maybe not as, in my eyes, he's better than perhaps he is. But I'm a big fan of him. I think he's a bit of a dog on the pitch as well, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, but I think he's done much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. The year when you won the Scudetto in 2023,
Even last year he was one
was
of
the
the
key
was a
player.
beast.
He
He
was
was
the
a
Even last year he was one of your better players.
No, bro, he was the
Disagree.
worst one. He was
That's
the
your
worst
fault.
one.
I disagree. I think he was good.
He was the worst one.
I disagree. I think he was good.
Fine, Harry.
Let's agree to disagree.
Okay, right.
What's your grade
I
for
would say 7.
Lobotka?
Lobotka 9.
I would
8.
say 7.5, 8.
Yeah.
I really love Lobotka.
Scott McFradman?
10.
10.
11 out of 10 with Rice.
10.
Like,
10 with
what a
Laude.
player.
10,
Honestly,
10
what
with the
a
star,
player.
with a golden star.
Yeah.
We
What
have
a
the
player.
same.
Yeah,
opinions.
I think we all love Scott McFradden.
Yeah, absolutely.
McFradden.
McFradden.
Then we'll go to the attackers. Politano,
7.
7 only
Yeah.
because he had a lot of work during the first part of the season, going like he was a fullback almost the first part of the season. So I will say 7.
Yeah, I would say 7.5 because he does, as you said, a lot of work also on the back and helps.
Raspadori,
7 again.
I'll say 8 because he came up when Napoli was
Yeah.
really struggling.
And he did that
up
also
top,
in
so-
2023. He's that
Yeah,
player that
because
helps.
Osimhen was out
Yeah.
for a little bit. Yeah. Neres.
6.5.
7 because he was really good in the first part of the season until January. Then he obviously was injured. So
I also think that Neres is one of those players that I expected a lot from him going to Napoli. I think he's a player that I've always really
but
liked.
last season he played 10 games in Benfica.
No, I appreciate that.
I wasn't
but
even expecting too much. I thought it was going to be the best number 12, as we say in Italy. So the first substitution. Yeah,
honestly,
but
I honestly thought he could have come in and almost been Politano's replacement in the future.
I think
I
next
don't
year is
see it
going to
going
be
that
his
way.
year.
I don't want to butcher the name, so please tell me
Which one?
the last one.
Kieran Scott.
Okay, Kieran is really.
Kieran, it's just a different spelling.
Okay, so Scott McSaucy is the GOAT for
Scott
Napoli
Scott
season.
is the GOAT. Scott McSauce.
Obviously, we're gonna finish with Lukaku.
8. Solid 8, maybe 8.5.
7.5.
I think in a lot of the games he played horribly until he scored. So incredible performance by Lukaku. But even on Friday, I was in the stadium. I saw every fucking move that he did. It was shit until the 51st.
But that goal was unbelievable, though.
The goal was unbelievable. It was like a old Lukaku goal.
Yeah, but my opinion on like Lukaku, that I'm not a fan of his play generally, but when you're paying a striker to score goals, and even if he has a bad game and he still can score a goal, I'm a big fan of that.
He scored not a lot, but he assisted
14
really,
goals and 10 assists in Serie A.
And he's the assist man of the season for Serie A. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
pivot, as Pardo would say.
The pivot, he had an incredible new role in Naples this season, but at the same time, I think
He's just built like a brick shithouse as well.
before going on to the other teams in the Serie A, I'm gonna ask you not this other one that I'm gonna ask you after, but obviously we know that Antonio Conte is set to leave Napoli because he wants to go back to Turin
Where his heart belongs.
Where his heart belongs. I heard a lot of the things that like Oriali is second in command. He's trying to convince him to say his wife yesterday from the bus of the parade that Napoli did yesterday. They were saying, please stay. And she said, I'm trying my best to let him stay. But I think the heart wants to go back to Turin.
And you can tell that as well.
I think also because I think he said it in an interview somewhere.
Years
but
ago
he regretted leaving Juventus. He said so.
But because he's a bianconero at heart.
So he always said he regretted that decision, and so maybe it's like redemption to go back now.
Because he's going away, the biggest name and the clear substitute right now is Allegri, Max Allegri.
What are your thoughts on that as a Napoli fan? Because I'd be buzzing. I rate Allegri.
I'm not buzzing. I think Napoli has a lot of power in the transfer market right now, a lot of money. It's really close. KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, is really close to joining Napoli, and you have a lot of money more so that you can buy other players. I've seen linked a lot of great players, David, Sane, also younger players like Komorodion. But I think if you give the proper team to Allegri, he can compete. If you give him a slightly less good team than the others, you will never see Napoli win the Scudetto with Allegri.
I think
but you need to give him the proper team.
That's the difference between like a manager like Conte and any other manager.
Conte, we need to remind that Conte lost the best player in the squad, one of the best players in Serie A in the last 3 years, Kvaratskhelia, in January.
But not also that, he also lost Osimhen in the summer. I know you're not his biggest fan after.
No, I'm not his biggest fan only because I think Osimhen has the actual skills to be one of the best, if not the best striker in the world. But his head is
somewhere else. But also,
exactly.
Look, Lukaku. I've been singing his praises now because he's coming up in big moments and scoring the goals like Friday. Osimhen is a player that would have got more goals, you'd like to think,
absolutely.
with how talented he
absolutely.
is. So for Conte to come in with a lesser striker.
He wanted Lukaku.
Yeah, but he
Conte wanted
Lukaku.
Lukaku.
I appreciate that.
And Napoli tried to get other strikers last season.
But what I'm saying is
I want Lukaku.
Conte coming in with having lost Osimhen, who was your main guy up front, obviously, and then Kvaratskhelia in January, for him to then be where he is now, a title winner. Really
I'm going to
impressive.
save the comment that Kieran Scott left in the chat for the third
Why would you say that, Kieran?
actually segment of the podcast, because I think that's an unpopular opinion. It's not something that you would say
Why?
easily. The last thing, I think Allegri could be a good manager, but I need to see at least the transfer market that Napoli is going to do.
Maybe mine is a controversial opinion, but in the last years, if you could look at Allegri, okay, when he had Milan played good football. It wasn't like now we have all the idea of Allegri like Cortomuso, like winning 1-0.
No.
Bro, don't worry. Don't worry.
What's going on?
Carry on.
Brakan, right? I said it.
You're not fucking saying it. Carry on.
No, but the name I wanna say.
Hello, Brakan.
Oh, Oh,
Braham.
I see now what was the problem was.
It's so cool to try to say your name, bro. It's so cool.
By the way, I actually need to say something. So Brachan and all the boys in Wales, you know, they all think that you look like Fabrizio Romano. Like genuinely, whenever
Here
I
we
say,
go.
My goal is to have at least half of the career that he has. So,
yeah,
so
you know, every time
thanks for the comparison.
every time we mention like you boys, they always go, "Oh, what Fabrizio?" Yeah, they love
Thank you guys from Wales. Thank you. I will say, obviously, Morgan said I usually skip this part. To be honest, we're gonna talk about Serie A a little bit more, and then we're gonna talk about European football. Obviously,
we'll have a
Harry
look at
wants
the
to talk
finals
about
and stuff.
the team that he has on his right. And then we're gonna talk obviously about the European finals.
Yeah.
But 1 minute, please, guys, stay with us.
Stay with us. We're going to talk about now.
Allegri is the only quick answer. Allegri could win the league next season with a proper transfer market.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Really, I wanna do for the rest of the Serie A table. I wanna do like a game in which we are gonna talk about the next season. Who do you see on the bench coaching the teams? Because we know that in Serie A we're gonna see a lot of
change.
turnover
Yeah.
and on the benches tonight this season. So for Inter, do you think Simone
Inzaghi says.
Inzaghi, yeah.
if he wins the Champions League, he's gone?
To be
Gone.
fair,
Nah. Oh, I'll take him
Gone.
like a Lazio though.
If
No.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
because
would.
He goes back to
I
Lazio.
would.
Simone Inzaghi
He
goes back to
wouldn't. He
Lazio.
wouldn't. But oh
I
my
don't
God,
want
would I
traitors.
take him?
No.
Okay.
Leave.
So,
Stay as far away from
third on the table, Atalanta.
Honestly, I have no clue. I genuinely have no
I think
clue.
they'll manage to
today,
keep him. I think they'll manage to
today there's news from today that it said they are finally opening up on him going away. So
going away.
yeah,
I think.
Thiago Motta could be a great shout out for the Atalanta squad.
You know what I think would be the best for Atalanta? Tudor. Because in terms of football, Tudor.
I'm not impressed with.
Okay, think
I'm
about
not fussed
Tudor
either.
of Verona, not Tudor now. What he did at Lazio because he came like when the season was already on. But Tudor has the same philosophy of Gasperini, and he's one of the like the student of Gasperini. So for continuity, I think it could be a choice, but I don't think he would.
I think you can hear in our voices that we are not English natives, but
Unfortunately.
but Elena is really close to English native, so.
If you want, I can do the second part of this video talking British English.
Please don't.
It
really creeps me out.
Juve, Conte.
Yeah.
Conte, yeah.
Then for Roma.
You know what? That's actually an interesting. I haven't thought about it. I keep forgetting that Claudio Ranieri's leaving because of how well he's done.
And he's 80, like.
Yeah.
Let the man go to enjoy
Die.
his
The man
life.
of time. The man of time could be the best title for him.
Exactly. Again,
Cesc Fabregas.
No.
They're working.
No.
They're working
yeah,
really
they're
hard. to get
they're
him,
working
but-
for it, but I don't think Como will.
No.
I think he
Como-
loves the
Como
project
is-
there.
Yeah, but
I think he
Como
genuinely
could-
loves the project
Could be the
there.
next Atalanta in the Serie A. So Como is on that path, I think. So I would stay in Como.
They said that he will stay. That Roma offered
The-
5 million.
The
and
management
then,
said it, not Fabregas. Fabregas at the end of the game against Inter on Friday said, whatever, if he stays or not, Como is still going strong next season. That's why.
Morgan's asking if you boys are going to come and watch Llandelo play next year to win the league again.
I think.
Trying to clarify, to win the league again.
Again.
We are league champions.
Whoa!
damn.
Just want to throw it out there.
Damn, boy!
The first team won the league, second team got third and possibly promotion. So up the Daylor, Llanadelo. Actually, can you do that? Say for me, Llanadelo. Llanadelo. Means
Llanadelo.
It's like Forza.
Llanadelo.
Yeah, it's like Forza Daylor.
I'm Welsh.
Forza
I'm Welsh.
Forza Daylor.
Forza Daylor. Okay.
Are you gonna come and watch next season?
Yeah, if we're gonna come to Wales, yeah, of course.
I'm not that yet.
Bring the flares. Be like, join our ultras.
Absolutely.
Up
I
the Daylor
think
ultras.
it's an experience that we need to have, like watch. It's
It's
not Sunday League.
It's Sunday League, but we play on a Saturday. It's
Okay, so it's not Sunday League.
No,
Like
but it's the
Serie B.
same concept. I don't know why we actually play on Saturdays and why it's still referred to as Sunday League, but yeah,
Also
it is.
because
It's Sunday.
in England, in Saturday only play you only see the Premier League and the Champions League, right? And the Championship, right? That's why, like, Premier League and Championship play on Saturday, and that's why the unprofessional one is said.
So the reason that like 3 o'clock kickoffs aren't broadcast in the UK is to get fans down to watch your local team.
Okay.
So that is the reason we have it.
Oh.
And then on Sunday, they just kind of thought, fuck it, we don't care.
I think one of the worst rules in football because you lose so much.
That's one thing that I do enjoy when I'm back is actually getting to watch the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Like
because here you can do
in
it.
Italy, you stream our 3 o'clock kickoffs.
We said Roma, but you didn't say any name.
I don't know.
I honestly haven't got a clue.
Okay.
Genuinely haven't.
And then
I think they are very behind because they were looking for a manager for like 5 months now, and they still don't have the name.
Ranieri said
I don't think it's a
I
lie.
think exactly. Exactly.
I think if Gasperini leaves, he got to.
Yeah, see, I said this a few weeks ago, and you guys didn't agree with me. I think Gasperini would do quite well at Roma.
No.
I think he would.
I don't know about that. I think
it's not the best spot for them. Not on the pitch, outside.
Yes.
Outside the stadium.
That's what I meant as well.
People's opinion is not the same. Finally, the last one I want to hear from you, Lazio.
Oh, Fiorentina as well, we have to say.
Fiorentina, I think Palladino is going to stay.
I think they're going to get Baroni.
Well,
because Baroni is leaving.
Yeah,
Baroni's leaving,
which I'm gutted about. I'm really sad about that. I love Mr. Baroni.
And so, if not Baroni, who's coming to Lazio?
Maurizio El Football Sarri.
Yeah, I can't wait for Sarri ball again.
We're gonna close the Serie A. We're gonna close the Serie A section here because I think that's enough with last thing. Guys, it's finally your moment has arrived. We're gonna talk right now in the second segment. It's called Inspector Europe. We're gonna talk about the European finals because obviously tomorrow Chelsea is gonna play against Betis in the Conference League final.
The GOAT's gonna win a Conference League.
The GOAT,
Anthony.
Anthony. Okay. I want to also hear your opinions on, I think, the worst final I've ever seen, Tottenham United from last week.
Brennan Johnson, baby.
Bro, it has been, we've seen it. It was the first day you came back here in Italy. The worst final that I ever seen in my life.
The level was ridiculous.
It wasn't even football.
No.
It wasn't even football.
For me.
And that's why you have fucking... you had the 16th place and 17th place of the Premier League playing the European final, and you saw that on the pitch. You saw that. That's why they are 16 and 17 on the Premier League table.
One thing that I would say that a lot of, I think, British people, and not even just British people, like, I agree with it as well, but you'll probably agree with it, is the fact that United and Tottenham have got to a European final in a year where they've played so dreadfully
we already
bad.
talked about it, but
We did, yeah. How it does just show how well or how strong the Premier League is compared to other leagues.
No, for me no, because you've seen it that they played horribly, and there's no Premier League team in the Champions League final. There's no Premier League team in the Champions League final. No. So don't tell me that the Premier League is far better than the first team to not get relegated. Is still better than the fourth Italian team or the third, fourth Spanish
I have a
team.
Controversial opinion on this, but I think that if Serie A clubs had the budget that Premier League clubs have, an Italian club would win an Europa League, Conference League, and Champions League every year.
We are now. I want to tell you these stats. We are now in the third straight season that we see at least one Italian team in a European final.
With no budget compared to others.
With no budget, because if you think about Inter, last summer they spent
zero.
Ovo, as we say in Italy, ovo, egg, zero, nothing, nada. And if you think about how much PSG has spent on the transfer market, I'm not gonna say another team that I don't know how they have their transfer market not banned, because City, I don't know how they are still making moves.
Shit football team.
No, they are not shit football team.
Shit club.
I don't know how with 115, 140. I don't know. I stopped watching the numbers of the FA rule.
Yeah, 115, probably more.
How do you have your market still open?
I know, it's mental. I'm really hoping that they just get relegated.
They're not.
Like,
They
they're not.
will
It's Man
never get
City.
relegated
It's such
because
a
of that.
We'll
marketing
see what
thing for
happens.
the
There's
brand.
still
But
a case pending, I think.
yeah, well, you're the lawyer, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
we
sure about
lost
that.
Alex.
No, I'm intrigued. What is your opinion as a lawyer on the whole City thing, as a sports lawyer or training sports
I
lawyer?
would like to say I'm not a lawyer officially.
Yeah, but she's working
She will be.
to get there. So
I'll be hopefully a trainee solicitor soon. A trainee solicitor soon. What was the question? Oh, the opinion. Oh, I think something will happen, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. I
I don't think they're going to be relegated, maybe. In Italy, they would never get relegated, but we'll see.
I just want to go through the chat quickly because
no, I'm reading
some of
it.
it's hilarious.
Some
So
grade.
so I'm going to go from Morgan King or Shares. I'm not going to comment on it because they're both fantastic footballers.
I think Kieran hopes that Serie A teams
Buy
get
up the United
every-
players, yeah. To be
Yeah,
fair,
but
if
Kieran,
it works like
if you
McTominay,
see-
that'd be
if you-
great.
Exactly. If you see what the United players are doing elsewhere, it's not a good thing to see them away from United because you see what you had and what in a normal environment they could do. And I think the United environment and the United system right now
I think
is fucked.
an example of this was something I saw today where everyone was saying McTominay in the season that United have, if he was still there, he would be the scapegoat. He would have had all the
of
attention
course.
for it. Obviously, he'd be hated amongst it. And you can see what a player like McTominay can bring to the table. I'm saying every time I point at McTominay shirt, it just looks like I'm pointing at you because you can't see it on the screen. But we have a Scott McTominay shirt there because someone's a massive fan.
There it is.
Scott McFradema.
Scott McFradema. But yeah, I think United, you've got players. Like I'm obviously a Liverpool fan, so I'm enjoying your downfall very much. But I do think that there are many players in that United squad who, in a less toxic environment, would be brilliant
I think
footballers.
at Circe, Oilun,
Highland's one of them, and
from-
every fan who's not seen him in Serie A when he was with Atalanta would be like
also
shit,
Circe.
he's
Also
shit.
Circe.
Yeah, exactly,
Incredible season with Bologna.
exactly. But
But I'm saying this. I think Maguire in another environment could be a great defender. A great defender. Look at what he does with the England team.
yeah,
It's one of the better defenders that they have.
Yeah.
No,
At
exactly.
United, it's shite because that's it.
Yeah. I think every player, even if you have Lamine Yamal going to United, he would just fail.
yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
I know it's
yeah.
a big thing to say, but
I want your opinions on, or Kian Williams is asking, opinions from you on Llandavri FC.
I need to see more. I need to see more to say that they are so shy that they cannot be
Correct
on a
answer.
football pitch.
Correct answer.
Olun couldn't score in a brothel. Obviously, we're not gonna repeat what you said, Kieran. I already did, but we're not gonna repeat it again.
Cam, you've definitely had worse.
But Kieran Scott, I think Olun could be a good player from every other team than United. I think United right now is the cemetery of the fucking football world.
100%.
That's it, and that's why also if you think about Amorim, what he did with Sporting in a really close window of time, and what is now doing at United from
I do
November
think
to now.
with Amorim, if they keep him, which I think they should,
I think
he'll have a good
they'll
chance.
start. I hope they'll start to
I think
improve.
their problem is
United
like not only like Carrington and the atmosphere, like from the higher ups as well. I mean, you look at like Jim Radcliffe and all the cuts he's making, which I think, as a player, you would feel so uneasy. You know, you're there to play for the fans, and all. You know, if you're at risk of your job, even the people around you, not as a player maybe, but the staff around, the training ground, you'd feel like shit the entire time. But also, like, it's such a toxic environment that the players, like, you hear like Paul Pogba, etc., talking about it. Yes, okay, he had his good times, he had his bad times there, but every player who leaves and says Carrington and the atmosphere is what the problem is. It was the same when Mourinho was there. Essentially, it's been the same since Fergie left.
since Fergie.
Yeah, that's the day that the whole Man United died.
I think the curse happened when they decided to not pay Ferguson because they had like a thing that he was still getting paid even after he left.
He was like almost like a sponsor for
So
them.
Yeah, but right
even
now I
more
think they are
cursed
cutting
now.
too much. Like
absolutely.
the news that Amorim paid for 30 of the staff to go to the Europa League final because the Man United the board didn't want to pay anything. So that's
Criminal.
yeah.
I
Absolutely.
think Amorim,
People
Amorim
that
knew-
work every fucking day for a season for that club, and you don't show them recognition or anything.
I think given an opportunity and time, Amorim could really build up a good foundation for his own team, play the way that he wants them to play.
The fact is, right now,
I think he's strong. I think he's strong-willed.
Who would you keep in the United squad? That's the fact. They need to do a fucking clean sweep of everyone other than Diallo, other than Dorgu,
Dorgu's a fucking
and Bruno
beast.
Fernandes.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes.
I think I disagree. I think Bruno goes.
What?
Money cash
He's
in.
the only player that did
No, look, he's been good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of him, so
obviously because
No, but I'm seeing this through rose-tinted glasses. I understand that, but I do think get rid of Bruno. You get the money in now from a team like Saudi. You rebuild using that money on players who will become, as a team, a lot better. You can't rely on one player.
I'm not against that. I think if you have to rebuild, you have to get rid of all the senators, even if they're like good players. But just
I want to point out on the question: do Spurs need to sack Ange? Obviously, I think Postecoglou has done its time at Tottenham. I think the Spurs fans should thank him for the first title in 17 years, but now it's time to go.
See, I'd keep him.
Really?
no.
I know.
After the abysmal season that you've seen,
I know, but I think he's someone who I rate him. I
and
think
you know
I rate him.
what I would love to see at Tottenham?
Who's that?
Daniele De Rossi. I
Oh
would
my
love
God.
to see him
What
there. I think,
Pezzo di merda.
of course, I said it to Laziale, so it's
No,
simple. But
what,
I
like-
think
I
De
don't
Rossi.
think he's got the
De
experience
Rossi
or
has
the
to
mindset
start from a
there.
bottom league team.
De Rossi De Rossi team, coached by De Rossi, came at the to the semi-final in the Europa League 2 seasons ago. I think he was sacked too early from Roma, and I think it could be an incredible coach in the Premier League because you have a more dynamic system. It's really fast game, less tactical part of the game. I think De Rossi could really be a great, also a great cheap option for Tottenham. Obviously,
I
because
don't think they have problems of money, Tottenham.
I think they could
I think they're
use a little bit.
I think they're just shrewd with their money. Like Daniel Levy, he's a businessman and he's
Guys,
a very good
obviously
businessman.
I'm gonna get 8 on the chat right now, but I think that with the money that the Premier League has, you're spending it very poorly. Like 60 million for Solanke is so fucking much.
Mate, what a player! What a player! I'll die
60
on that.
million?
Die on that. Die
60
on that
million,
hill. Die
bro.
on that hill. What a player!
Oh my god.
60
What a
million.
player! What a player! I will die on the hill. I love Slank. I think he's fucking brilliant. Mate.
60 million.
60 million.
Mate, I think if you got the money
He's
to spend
good.
as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you want it, you can spend it also better than.
I think he was what they needed. He came in. He's done well.
Like, for example, Marmoush, that I think is one of the better player right now.
Yeah.
That is coming like a new star that I think is gonna play really an important role in the City squad in the next few years. 75. So you have only a 15 million gap from Marmoush and Solanke. So that's the thing that I'm saying. I think you agree with
I
me.
agree with you. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
And you've seen it up close. You've seen a lot of the Premier League live.
Yeah, I've seen it in my hands. I see it.
I think.
But
the
even
the
like
one,
80 million for like Hoylund, like what the fuck?
Yeah, true. I think
A
the
player that
one.
did a good season. after that.
Oilund was a better,
Yeah, but not
a
80,
best
not
signing
80,
because
come
of the price. That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
thing.
No, he's a good player.
I don't
Or
think he's
maybe
a
30
better
at the
player,
time.
but he's a
80.
player 30 million maybe.
Yeah, 30 maximum.
Not 80.
It's not like you completely
And the
like.
first thing I'm gonna say, then the last thing I'm gonna say, sorry, Kepa, 80 million at Chelsea.
Oh, ugh.
Oh my god.
What
Okay.
a shit.
Okay, so
I think-
you agree with me?
Okay.
Yeah, but I think Slanky's a much better player than you're giving him credit for. Honestly, the only thing that Slanky lacks
Oh, God.
is the fact that he's got one of the best wingers in the world next to him, Brennan Johnson,
Wow.
my star boy.
Let's change
Harry,
topic now.
Harry celebrated so much because Brendan Johnson scored in the final. It was the only thing that he cared in the final. I don't care who wins. The
I
important
know
thing
that's
is,
not true. I really wanted Spurs to win.
yeah, but you said
That's just how being a
okay,
Liverpool fan.
whatever. The important thing is Brendan Johnson to score.
Yeah.
And he scored.
He did.
I don't
was gonna
know.
put a bet on it, and I didn't.
I don't know if he scored. Shaw got an own
The
goal.
ball went in, and he celebrated. That's all I care about. He's
Okay.
getting all the plaudits. Wales on top.
I think there's a Solanke.
Debate in that. Actually, what I want now is
Because,
an opinion from Kian as a Spurs fan. We've obviously spoken about Ange. What is your opinion on you and like Tottenham fans generally? What are your opinions on Ange? Does he stay or go? Do you want him to stay or go?
And at the same time, Elena is turning heads in the chat because they are asking for the Insta.
My Instagram. I'll tell you later.
So let's move on to the next
Yes,
European
Kian's Fast for
final. A
United,
really
one
close,
player.
really fast one. The closer one, obviously Chelsea Betis. Chelsea Betis Sevilla. What do you think? What's your prediction for the game? And do you see Maresca win a trophy in their first season at the top of the Chelsea Football Club?
I can see that happening,
Yeah.
but I think Betis is gonna play a great game. So it's not
Yeah.
written that Chelsea's gonna win.
They're really right now in
They're
a
playing
stupendous
amazing
form.
football.
The one thing I would say that
Stupendous.
separates, I've got the teams in front of me now, and the one thing that separates the two teams, not by much, but you've got a lot more experienced winners in the Betis team. I know you've got players like Reece James who will have won the Champions League. I understand that, and maybe you'd say that the Chelsea players are better quality. Isco, multiple-time Champions League winner. He's been there, he's done it. Anthony, the GOAT. Bartra won Champions League.
We have here Kian
Barca.
saying that Anthony last minute winner. So we
Yeah,
have we have a scorer and
Exactly. Even Fornals has won a Conference League. Adrian's won a Premier League and a Champions League. You know, that team has winners in it that will have been in those situations where Chelsea's players won't have. And also, Chelsea have had a fairly easy route to the final.
Yeah, but Betis only Fiorentina.
It's
The
a-
Conference
it's a-
League.
Conference League is
True,
if you go,
true.
if you reach the semi-final, it's easy until the semi-final for every team. There's no team that you're gonna see struggling. Big team that you're gonna see struggling in the quarterfinals or in the round of 16. It's not possible.
I just want to clarify in terms of the Ange thing that I asked Kian. He says, give the man a chance. If it's the same story within first month of Prem, he's got to go. Simple as bring Ty Garland in.
Yeah, but then that could compromise the first half of the
See,
season.
I agree. I hate it when
No,
teams sack
that's
a
very
manager
bad.
too early in.
No.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he had a chance.
Even for the transfer
He
market,
finished
it's
two season with Tottenham. So it's not like he didn't have a proper timing or stuff. 2 entire season. You had Tottenham once 5th or 6th last season. Or was it?
I can tell you.
Look it up. And then this season 17th. With the record of lost games for a not relegated team in the Premier League history. 22 lost games without being relegated. It's something incredible.
Spurs were 5th last year.
5th. Okay. But this season you spent 60 million for Solanke. So who's right?
Me. Solanke's a hell of a
Accept
player.
defeat.
I'm not. I genuinely, I will die on the hill. Also, Sean saying Adrian never replayed with those wins. Yeah, fair. But he also had to be around the other players with a mindset. He's got the experience of being in those situations. Maybe not on the pitch, but I think it's still.
He's not even the starter for Betis, right?
I'm just looking at the predicted lineup.
Yeah, it's not out.
Is it? But yeah, obviously it's tomorrow,
course,
so
it's not out yet.
impossible to be the official lineups.
Kian's absolutely rinsed you. He said, cool record to have with a European trophy.
Yeah, with a European trophy, of course it's better than the Conference League because it's a better trophy than the Conference League. At the same time, with a club not winning for 17 years, of course you're gonna only remember the Europa League trophy from this season. But you said we are talking about the Premier League next season. We're talking about if Tottenham can stay in the Champions League because Tottenham is gonna play in the Champions League, and I don't think that Postecoglou is the right man for the job. That's the only thing.
Fair enough.
Back to the Europa League
prediction,
final.
because we need to talk about the bigger
Yeah.
final.
Yeah. I mean, the one quick insight that I've got up here now is that Betis haven't won a game in their last 5, and also haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 11. It doesn't have anything up for Chelsea, but I do think, with that in mind, maybe 2-1 Chelsea. I think they've got the stronger team. They might not be experienced winners, but then you've got Anthony, and he'll carry the game.
I think it's gonna go to the extra time, and Chelsea's gonna win it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Champions League final, the big one, Saturday.
Whoa.
Finally, the Champions League final. Of course, PSG against Inter. I would say that Inter is the underdog in this situation, in this
Yes,
final,
yeah.
because PSG right now is the biggest informed team of the second part of the season. From January till now, they started playing incredible football. They score so many goals, and not only in the Farmers League that it is Ligue 1. Obviously, Theo, if you're watching, our French guy, it's not like that. We are joking, but in the French league, PSG is
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
walking. It's not even
Yeah.
running.
No. And also, I think, like we've mentioned this before on another podcast, since they've got rid of Mbappe, Messi, Neymar, all those players who wanted everything to be about them, their team, pound for pound, player for player, is one of the strongest. There's not really a big weakness in there. Obviously, I'll say it now, but I think Inter are going to win, and I want Inter to win. But when you look at the team that PSG have, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, Barcola, 3 phenomenal players. Ruiz, Vitinha, Neves.
Doué is
great.
better than Barcola.
I agree.
So
Genuinely,
I think he's gonna play. Doué is gonna play better.
yeah, I think Doué is one of my favourite players this season. I think.
Where are
he's
you looking
incredible.
these predicted lineups that are
Fot
so
Mob,
shite?
sponsor us. Fot Mob. But then even this like defenders, Hakimi, Mendes, Pacho, Marquinhos, Donnarumma in goal. There's no weakness, no big weakness.
I think the defense is a little.
Marquinhos
is a
is
little-
aging, but he's still like class.
With Inter, it doesn't matter how good you are attacking, but how you defend.
Yeah,
That's
true.
what I would say. Because they're
I think
very good
the
at
Inter
taking
plan
chances.
needs to be to not let PSG score
No,
first.
they need to slow the game down and let it play at their pace. I mean, we've all seen a lot of Inter games this year. A lot of people watching will have watched.
I've
them
seen
only
also
in
the
Champions
PSG,
League.
every PSG game in the Champions League, not in the Liga, not every
Yeah.
game in the Liga. Some games like maybe against Olympique Marseille, again against Lyon, maybe that day. But it's different. The level of football that they displayed in the Champions League, it's completely different. And I think they are the favorites to win it, but Inter could do something. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think Inter have showed against Barca what they're really capable of in
And I
terms
think-
of even taking the chance, when there's a possibility, just do it. I remember the first leg of that game, and it was just insane. Like Inter, three chances, 3 goals. They're very good at that. So
They're clinical.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I want to ask you this. I think, and I want to know your
Yeah.
opinion, it's easier to score a goal against Barcelona,
Oh, yeah.
and at Barcelona, I think it's a better
Yeah.
team than PSG. It's easier to score a goal against Barcelona than to score a goal
definitely,
against
no,
PSG.
I agree on that.
Because the
Have you
philosophy
seen
of the game
Yeah.
that Hansi Flick displays with the Barcelona team is always attack, even if you're 3-2 up at the 90th minute.
Oh my God. When I saw that line defense up there at the 90th minute, and then Acerbi scored, I was like, this is not real.
It was incredible.
In Italy,
Oh,
that
yeah.
would have we're so tactical, we're so defensive that would have never happened.
So, prediction for the game, the result.
I'm going to back the team that I prefer out of the two, and I'm going to back Inter. I think their defensive shape, the 3 that turns into a 5, the best left back in the world, who's going to be monitoring Kvara or Doué.
You think that Di Marco is better than Nuno Mendes right now?
No. I'm just saying in terms of he'll be.
You said the best.
Oh no,
left back in
yes,
the
yes, I
world.
do, yes, I do. And I will die on the hill. DeMarco's been the best left back in the world for years.
In the last few years, yes, Nuno Mendes right now is better.
He's having a better couple weeks.
No, a better
Like-
6 months.
No.
And it's different than
It's
a couple
between the
weeks.
two of them, undeniably. But DeMarco is the best left back in the world.
I
in my
would
opinion.
say
And
there's
I
an
think-
argument on
Wing
who's
back
better
or-
than who's better than in the right wing back or the right
in
back.
terms of like Darmian against
Dumfries.
Hakimi.
Dumfries is playing. Where do you fucking get these correct lineups?
Darmian.
Why Darmian is
Why
playing,
is
bro?
Yeah, true. And also,
Dumfries is gonna
Dumfries
play.
has been so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Hakimi's the best right back on the planet right
No,
now.
Dumfries is better than Hakimi, I think.
What
Dumfries
have you
is
been
better
smoking?
and Nuno Mendes is better. I think.
Whoa.
No, we've got it the
Yeah,
other way around.
Yeah, but I think without Dumfries, Inter would not be there.
Yeah, that's true. That Dumfries has had an amazing season. He's one of the best players for Inter.
Exactly.
But Hakimi.
Hakimi is
Yeah,
incredible,
it
but
is.
I think, and he's incredible. I love Hakimi. It's a really close call, but I think Dumfries, as the Champions League season went on, I think he really got the star power that Inter needed to get through the quarterfinals and the semifinals.
Mate, Hakimi is a bad player.
Yeah, he's a better player, but right now, Dumfries, I think it could be the
I'm
better
the Inter
one.
fan out of all of us. Like,
Yeah, and you said
Yeah.
this Di Marco is better than Nuno Mendes. We know that you're an Inter fan.
fact. Bro, best left back in the
No,
world. Genuinely.
no messages in the chat about Harry being a plastic fan today.
No, not yet. Now that you said it,
Guys,
will probably come in.
text.
Just
Right.
something.
Send your fucking pigeon. Tell us how Harry is a plastic fan.
Say something.
What do you think? Where do you think the
By the
game
way,
is gonna play?
I have to say, I just love
In
the
which-
fact that our football group chat's just popping off when I look at them.
What do you think is the bigger part of the like fight in this on the pitch? The two players that are gonna be the center of the tension, one from Inter and one for PSG.
I think Dumfries for Inter
Dumfries.
and Kvara for PSG.
Kvara has a story against Inter not
Yeah.
as good as you would think, because in years at Napoli he never scored against
Yeah,
Inter,
to be fair, that's
and I think he maybe assisted one goal, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember right now, but maybe the only team that really stopped Kvara every time was Inter.
We'll see.
I
We'll
think
see.
Doué is gonna be the star player.
Yeah, I think, and on that, I think that Kvara is one of those players who, against a back four, he has the space to run into and make his magic work. Against Inter's back five,
Yeah,
it's
very
we've seen it
hard.
all season. It's impossible to
We'll
break
see.
that
We've
down.
never seen him play in a final, to be fair.
No.
So we don't know how it's gonna.
But
approach the
Barella
game.
is going to be the key man for Inter.
Score?
I think it's gonna go extra time. Do you guys think it's gonna be finished in the 90th minute or?
No, I don't. I don't.
I think extra.
I think 19.
I hope penalties.
Oh, I don't.
I think it's difficult. I would say 3-2 Inter, with a Doué scoring for PSG, at least one
He
goal,
loves Doué.
and Lautaro masterclass with a brace.
Whoa.
See, I think Lautaro will be quiet. I think Thuram will lead our attack.
Our attack,
Our
I'm
attack.
Martiale, I'm a Liverpool fan. Guys, I
Their
don't know.
attack.
Who is really Harry Beckwith?
Can you trust Harry Beckwith? I don't know.
Where's his
Well, the
loyalty?
comments are just gonna be
Where's
like,
your
no, 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 no.
loyalty?
No, look, Thuram will be the best player attacking wise. Barella will be the guy who runs the game.
I think Dumfries is gonna score. I'm saying
Okay.
this right now.
Okay. Dishan, as a Juve fan, the only thing that he would not see.
I'm saying he's score. I'm not saying he's gonna score the winner goal. I'm just saying he's gonna score.
Guys, we have arrived to the penultimate segment of this podcast, and it's I wanted you to say it.
Let me talk.
The let me
I think
talk.
you should have said it. Bear in mind he's joining your team.
Yeah, he's gonna join Napoli, but let's see. Let's see if it's not black and white on paper. I will not.
Okay.
Fuck you.
I have some questions for you, and before going to unpopular opinion stuff, this is for the first time viewers. This is the segment in which we're gonna talk about unpopular opinions or really absurd things that we think about, or like maybe do a top 11 or standing and stuff. So that's what we are going to do. I have some questions prepared for my two guests here today. I wanna know.
Whoa, he's not a guest.
I'm not a guest, boy.
It's the-
Co-host.
Co-host.
It's his first time in the
Co-owner.
studio right now.
Co-founder.
I said it at the beginning. Right now,
fuck
I
you.
said it at the beginning
That's
of
why, fuck you.
the podcast that he's a co-founder. Right now, he's a guest. You're a guest when I do the questions. You're a guest.
Okay.
Harry sporting Everton next season.
Fuck
Yes,
right
yes,
off.
finally.
New Stadium boys. No, I'm joking. No, fuck that.
Finally, thanks, Kieran. Scott, thanks. I want to know.
Rat.
I want to know. Really, this is a fast one.
Okay.
Okay.
Christ.
One name.
Harry, it's a fast
one
one.
name for every question that I ask you.
Okay.
Best player in the Serie A season and best player in the Champions League season.
Best player in the Serie A season, Scott McFratton. Best player in Champions League, Donnarumma.
I agree with both of them.
I'll say McTominay in the Serie A, and it's impossible not to say for me Yamal, because even if
Yeah.
he's not in the final, Yamal
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
was incredible. Or still Rafinha, but Donnarumma
Yeah,
is a great
yeah.
shout.
Yeah.
I think if PSG wins the
Champions League, it'll
it's
be-
because of
he
him.
he
would-
though.
he
Yeah.
would be the main guy. Best coach in the Serie A and in Europe.
Are we
of the
talking this season or just generally?
In the
best coach?
season, in the season.
In Serie A, Claudio Ranieri, as much as it fucking pains me to say it, I think no other coach knows Roma well enough and is truly Romanista to come in and do that. I know Daniele De Rossi was there and he is, Roma through and through, but he's not experienced as a coach. Ranieri is the guy that they
Is
need.
Harry becoming a
No.
Romanista?
No.
Is Harry becoming?
Is it gonna be his new club?
No.
Because the only thing that I said, fast responses, and the only
No.
the only
No.
the only answer that he gives
No.
more than one word
No.
is
No.
with Ranieri and Roma.
No.
We are
Better
joking.
not be.
Don't worry. We know that you're not a Roma fan, so
I don't want to say Conte because I don't want to be. I want to say Fabregas.
okay. I'm gonna say Conte. And for the European part of football,
Luis Enrique.
okay. I thought
I
he was
know,
going
I know it's an easy one, but
I'm going to say
I thought
Simone
he was going
Inzaghi.
to say Arne Slot. So
I'm going to say Simone Inzaghi.
What a bloke.
for the Champions League.
I'm gonna say I think Hansi Flick.
Yeah, no, I
Domestic
can see that.
treble
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Barcelona semi-final.
Oh, you mean in general? I thought
No, in
the
general.
Champions League.
No,
oh,
in general. No,
yeah.
I said in-
No, yeah. Then I would
It's
say,
easier to
yeah.
do a player than
Yeah, of
a
course,
coach
yeah.
in the Champions League. So, the biggest surprise of the season, Serie A, not Serie A, Premier League, whatever you want. Biggest surprise, a player, a coach, a team, whatever you want. And if guys, you in the chat wanna participate in this segment, text us, write your popular opinions or answer the question that I'm asking here to my lovely guests.
co-owner, co-founder.
Co-owner, co-founder, and guest.
Okay, I've got one, which I got two. One of them, I was going to say Ryan Gravenberch and how influential he's been to obviously rose-coloured glasses and our win and everything. But the other one is Palace winning the FA Cup against Man City. Just the whole journey of getting there.
That's
Palace,
a good one.
they Premier League team, they're all good. But when you're playing against City in a final, you never expect to win.
Yeah.
If you're playing, do you know what I mean? I think that has been a big surprise. I'm really, really happy for the Palace fans because I think they've needed this. It's one of the biggest trophy droughts in England. So, yeah, really good for
I
them.
agree on the Palace thing. I cannot think of the world right now, though Europe. The first thing that came into my mind is Como because it has been in Serie A it has been a massive surprise and they're gonna do well every season, I think. And talking about Como, I'm gonna talk about Nico Paz. That has been
What a player.
an unbelievable
What a
player to
player.
see. Just you wouldn't expect it because
Nico Paz, the
Unbelievable.
youngest, the best young player of the year for Serie A season. And I'm gonna say Forest. I think Nottingham Forest this
I
season.
think they dropped too much for it.
They
Give
still
it-
got European football. Dilly
Yeah,
dilly
yeah,
dong.
but- But for majority of it, they were pushing Champions League.
Yeah, absolutely. But Forest until last
The new
year
Leicester.
was a relegation team, and they did not even have a huge transfer market that you say, wow.
I think-
they got Ronaldo.
But given that they were fighting in amongst the top four for a long time, they were second for a couple of match days to finish seventh.
Yeah, but obviously you were fighting for the top four because City was shite for at least 3 months in the middle of the season. You had Chelsea obviously dropping points a little bit too much. You are fighting for fourth place also because Tottenham and United are.
You're saying you, but
No, I'm saying you as
Yeah, generally,
Nottingham
yeah.
Forest. Yeah, that's why I think
yeah.
they are the biggest surprise for me because I would not even put €1 on them at the beginning of the season. I would have not. Next thing, I think at the best moment, the single moment of the
Oh
season.
my god.
winning the
but,
fucking league.
Yeah, but winning it like the last game, or there's another game during the season that you.
I'd say maybe the game against Spurs, just because when Spurs went 1-0 up and then to batter them, lift the trophy. Well, no, we didn't lift the trophy that day, but just seal our fate as the champions in front of the Anfield crowd. We've never been able to lift the trophy
Yeah.
as a Premier League trophy since it's 1992 or whatever it was that the
Yeah,
Premier League
because
started.
the
it was for
2020
COVID.
Yeah,
season.
COVID, exactly. Maybe even Sunday, being we drew against Palace. Who gives a shit? We lifted the trophy in front of our fans. Failing that, coming up trumps, to be honest. That to me has been my
Okay.
favourite moment.
Yeah, maybe. Is it like a personal question or like a general
What
question? For me,
even if you have a personal one, you can say it. But I think as a football fan,
as a football fan,
I'll go first and then
yeah,
you
you
take.
can go.
As a football fan, because yesterday I said Acerbi, the goal in the 4-3, the 3-3 at the time during the semi-final. I'll say the Koundé goal in the Copa del Rey final.
Yeah.
during the extra time against Real Madrid in the Clásico,
Yes, that was a
because
good one.
I put on the game. I couldn't watch all the game. I turned on my TV at like the 60th minute, and I've seen an incredible game, and that goal in particular was
No, amazing. Yeah.
amazing.
Talking about this, I would say the Inter-Barca game, second leg.
I'd say just both of them combined.
Yeah.
Like, as a
Yeah,
moment,
because they
like,
were also close to each other. weren't
exactly.
they? Yeah.
Like both games, it was so back and forth.
Yeah.
Inter would score, Barca score too. Inter score
When
again.
I would say when Acerbi scored, that was the moment.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
moment of the tie.
I want to ask you only last question, then we'll go to answer the. I lost.
What's
lost a little
happening
bit.
to our chat?
The Fiorentina one. But I want to ask you, what do you think is gonna be the best transfer that is gonna happen this summer? What we are talking about, what maybe team could do.
Okay, I mean, again, I think transfers and stuff are very personal to, you know,
Yeah,
you're
of
always
course.
going to think of Napoli ones, I'm always going to think
Yeah.
of Lazio, you're always going to think of Lazio. Like, I think Frimpong to Liverpool is one that I think will go...
Better than Wirtz to Liverpool.
And I'll explain why. I think with Trent going, a lot of us are a little bit anxious. Yeah, we've got Conor Bradley, who's a phenomenal footballer, and I really think it's unfortunate for him that we've got Frimpong in. However, I think Frimpong's a player who will be able to come in and, as Liverpool fans who are sad that Trent is leaving, and I am one of those fans who's devastated that he's leaving, but completely understands. Frimpong coming in, I think he's that calibre of player where he will step up. He might not get the attacking output that Trent gets. I don't think anyone in that position will. But defensively, he is better. And also, I think we'll not forget about Trent leaving, but it will soften the blow a lot.
Makes sense.
What do you think?
God, I don't know. I think your move is quite good at the moment.
KDB.
KDB, Napoli is really good. I think it could be one of the best signings in the last few years in Serie A, but I think right now, if I see the transfer market, the rumors right now, I think Florian Wirtz to Liverpool
That's
is the best
exciting.
one. It's the best one.
I also think managers' move are quite important.
Yeah, this season it's a massive thing.
I'm very curious to see Xabi Alonso at Real
Yeah,
Madrid.
I am as well.
That's
I
very interesting.
have a controversial one.
You think he's not going to do it?
I've
well?
also got one afterwards as well.
I think I've already said this in the Italian version of the podcast. I think if Real Madrid doesn't clean house a little bit, Xabi Alonso is gonna suffer. He's not gonna be the.
Yeah, but they'll just sign everyone on a fucking free again.
Yep. No, the thing I'm saying is that Xabi Alonso needs a team to follow him. It needs a team that knows how he plays, and they need to follow the game plan. And with an attacking force that is with Mbappe, Vini Jr.,
lots of prima donnas.
Rodrigo, he's gonna struggle. Yeah. And that's why I said maybe in Real Madrid needed another manager, not a coach, another manager like Ancelotti. So I said a really strange name, but I said Deschamps from the France national team could be a great manager because he managed maybe the most talented team in nations. The national teams that are the France team is incredible. Yeah. And they went on and won a World Cup. They went on and arrived in a second final. So I think they could do better with a manager. Let's see what Xabi Alonso does, but.
The other transfer that I was thinking that is controversial, but I think will be incredible, is Luka Modric to Swansea.
And before in the chat, someone said
that's what
Ronaldo
to
Ronaldo to Swansea.
Then we'll go to the last segments of the.
Yeah.
Then we go to. Where do you think Ronaldo's gonna go? Because yesterday he said goodbye to Al Nassr.
Also, it's not confirmed that he is leaving. It might just be.
No, he's definitely
knowing Ronaldo,
he's leaving.
Some sort
Infantino
of
in the Speed Live last week, he said that Ronaldo is working his way into the World Cup, the Club World Cup. So
Sporting Lisbon.
Do you
he said he's Monterrey right now.
Do you guys think that's my question? Is he actually gonna go in a good team or in a his hard, club like Sporting, or is he actually gonna go in a first club that comes through just to play the Club World Cup?
I've thought for a long time. I think he will retire at Sporting. I think in his heart, he'll want to go full circle.
They do not have the money to.
But I'd also
keep him for more than a month. I think so.
True, very true.
No, the rumors are.
Although sell Gyökeres and they'll have a lot of money.
The rumors are, but you do not sell Gyökeres and replace him with a 40-year-old Ronaldo.
True.
The rumors are that right now he's trying to get his hands on a contract only for the Club World Cup, the team that he plays in the Club World Cup. And then I think he's gonna be back in Europe, maybe a small team. Obviously, a small team. I don't see him at
AFC,
Maybe
Bournemouth.
Como. Like Como could actually buy.
Como
Yeah,
could buy.
Como
him.
could is the
Como
only team
could
that
buy
could
him,
actually buy.
and I think he could score 10 goals in a season, not more.
Yeah.
Not many more.
No, I think he'll be one of those players that's great to have around to help their work ethic and stuff,
Exactly.
but maybe won't have the output that.
He would really
They
help
don't.
Nico Pass and all the young players
yeah,
that are.
precisely.
So guys, we have arrived to the last segment of this episode and of the season,
Of the season, indeed.
and it's a game between us. It's the big match. Obviously, we're gonna compete against each other. This game is composed by 5 turn of the wheel. Four. Sorry, 4. 5 is in the Italian one. 4 wheels, and the wheel is gonna give us 2 teams, and we need to say a player that played with both teams. Then 4, right? From the absolutely 4 general football knowledge questions, and then we have 3 career path. So let's begin.
Should we test our buzzers first?
I'll tell you guys to I'll give my microphone to Dishan because obviously we have a problem with the
can
4th
share
one. We can share one if you put it on
I don't
the
think I'm
table.
gonna be using mine a lot.
No, honestly,
put it on table-
you will share one because you're the one that's going to.
The only thing that I'll ask you, if you please can put the buttons here, the buzzers here, so that you can see which one of us
Perfect. Well, let's just-
presses it first. Ellie, put it here so that we can go.
Okie dokie. So the first team is United. The second team, Juventus. Jacopo.
Matthijs de Ligt.
Not Cristiano Ronaldo or.
No.
Like the biggest.
Why? For me, Ronaldo was a...
Second
By the way,
team.
before you do this, no one can beat Yak. I've beaten him once in however many episodes.
It's not true. In the Italian one,
It's very
I
true.
lost
I've beaten
a
him
lot
once,
of
yeah.
A couple
times.
of times, yeah.
Yeah, but in the English one, Harry is a little bit shy, so that's why he doesn't win.
Ajax. Barcelona. 5, 4, 3.
Cruyff. Man, more.
Okay. Yeah. I thought he wasn't getting it.
Milan. PSG. Yeah.
Me? Gianluigi Donnarumma.
Oh, I hate you guys though.
Dude, what I find really funny is we all press a button and then try and think of one straight away, like as if we
The
have.
thing, the thing is, I want to say
Should we
to the
try and
people
make
in
a
the
rule
chat.
now? Should we make a rule now where you can only press it if you have one in your mind, like straight away? Because I've been.
You have
pressing
a 5 second
hoping for
rule. You have a 5
Yeah,
second
5
rule.
second
If you
rule,
don't get in 5
Yeah,
seconds,
fair, yeah, true.
goes to the others. I want to say that because obviously you've seen only me and Harry answer the question, and he's better than us. Only
Oh my God,
a little
yeah.
slower.
No, guys.
No. It's true. It's like an encyclopedia for it.
Bayern Munich. Roma. Harry.
Bayern Munich, Roma.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Yeah, I don't know.
1. Jacopo's turn.
My turn.
5,
I'm glad that I'm not the only
3,
one.
2, 1. Elena.
Hummels.
Yeah.
It was so easy.
No, I was talking. I was thinking about Luca Toni, but I don't think he played
No.
for Roma.
You know the worst thing is when you get a player in your mind and you're like they did, and then you're like you can't imagine. I'm like no, they really didn't.
So it's 2-1-1.
2-1-1. Yeah.
Come on.
Let's go with the questions. This is an easy one. You have to be fast. Which club has won the most Champions League titles?
Real Madrid.
2-2-1.
Didn't see you answer it.
In which season was the European Cup rebranded as the Champions League?
92.
Oh God.
Right.
I knew
Bravo.
I knew that, I knew that, I knew that.
No, I already did this question, I think. Let me see. Who is the Champions League's top goal scorer of all time?
Cristiano
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
but he didn't even finish the question.
Yeah,
and
you
just had
can't
to
press
press
it
it.
just straight away. I will give it
No.
to you. I will give it to
Oh
you.
yeah, of course,
Sorry.
because he
Yeah.
It's not my fault that I know the question when he hadn't even finished it.
No, fuck.
You can do that as well. I feel like if you do know the question whilst you're still saying it, we should still be able to buzz in.
I'm gonna crush you as a career path.
Oh no, I know it's gonna be.
So we
it's gonna
are
be a massacre.
third
Last
one,
one,
no?
last
The last
one.
one. In which-
So double checking, I can press it mid question.
No,
No.
you can't.
I think it's not the worst. But let's go. Dishan is
Everything
is
always
referee.
against the Welsh one, right?
Dishan is the referee. Whatever he says goes.
In which year was the first European Championship held?
Championship.
So
Champions
Euros.
League.
1960.
That's right.
60.
Yeah, 60.
On point.
Yes.
You
yes.
fucking nerd.
Russia, Soviet Union at the time. It was the Soviet Union at the time.
Damn it.
Nerd.
Yeah, but
I'm not even
I've not won yet. So
So it's 3,
no, 4-3-1.
4-3-1.
And then I could still draw with me because we have
Okay.
3 career paths.
The first one. 13-14 Benfica B. 13-14 Benfica. 14-17 Monaco.
Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, bravo.
Right. The next one. 13-17 Porto. 17-23 Wolverhampton.
Nelson Semedo. No, he was a
They have so many Portuguese players who
But I know who it is now as well, and that's the annoying thing.
So we started 13-17 Porto. 17-23 Wolverhampton. 23 now Al Hilal.
I would, every
Four.
fucking
Can I
Portu-
buzz in if he doesn't get it?
Neves.
2. Yes.
I didn't know the first time, so
As soon as I buzzed
no, but I clocked in really fast, but I didn't know the first name because they all call João Neves, João.
That's their first names.
The last one. 2006-2010 Vojvodina. 10-12 Groningen. 12-14 Twente. 14-18 Southampton.
Big fucking captain Virgil van Dijk.
Wrong.
Fuck, bro, you went to Celtic. How can you fucking lose on Van Dijk?
I'm sorry, 20
That was a
Liverpool
brave
fans
move
watching.
from Harry.
12-14 Twente. 14-18 Southampton. 18-23 Ajax. 23 now Fenerbahce.
Tadic.
Tadic is right.
Well,
If you can give me back the microphone so that we can go and finish this
I don't like
incredible
these games
episode. Thank you guys for being us with
All season,
all
man,
season.
really, yeah.
Even if we stop for a little bit, thank you guys. I want to say thank you to Dishan, our magnifico coordinator.
Bravo.
I want to say bye to Elena.
And thank you very much.
thank
Incredible
you for
guest
having us.
with
Thank
us
you for
tonight.
having us. Having
Uh,
me. For having us.
Thank you, Harry, the co-founder of the channel of Dolce Calcio.
Thank you to you, Yak, also
thanks.
co-founder of Dolce Calcio.
Thanks. Thank you, guys. We'll see. Obviously, I want to remind you, if you don't do it, if you're already not following us on the socials, please follow us on Dolce Calcio on Instagram and TikTok.
And YouTube.
Subscribe to the
Yeah.
channel on YouTube. A lot more content is gonna come your way this summer. So please stay tuned. Stay with us. Stay with us in our journey to become a really great force in
Yeah, 100%.
podcast and social media
Space.
space.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, guys.
Last
Bye.
thing.
Bye.
Last thing.
Oh, that's
Forza
Forza
DFC.
Dolce
Forza
Calcio.
Dolce Calcio.
Always.
Bye.